Viking select Christian Ponder, quarterback, Florida State.
Coming to you now in mid-quality audio, brought to you in part by FNS Delivers. From your Vikings game day headquarters, Great Mandarin at the Eden Prairie Center. It's football talk like you've never heard before. Get ready for America's favorite Minnesota Vikings podcast. With your hosts, Sticky.
I really hated what he did. I hope he starts on fire.
And Buns.
You have gotten naked and are standing right in front of me and are doing thrusts.
It's the Sticky Buns Fun Time Happy Football Program. Ladies and gentlemen, Sticky and Bun.
Well.
Hi, Bun.
Hey, Sticky.
Would you like something in your bun?
Gross.
I think after I think what I did for you today was so outside of norm because I actually called India Palace and Eden Prairie first.
You did?
Before you even told me which one it was, because that makes sense to me. Why else would I be calling a random restaurant in a completely different city? I think you owe me something. By the way, the bun...
But you got the order wrong.
Not my fault, because I got the order from you and the order was wrong.
Yes.
You expected me to know something I would never know. Never. Have I ever seen you eat Indian food?
I'm not sure. You might have.
Nope.
Okay.
So the bun at sends me a message today. Will you do me a favor? And I said it depends on what it is. He proceeded to tell me that I needed to call a restaurant called India Palace and order him food because he forgot his phone and he needed to pick it up. What happened from there?
You didn't know that I like chicken curry, and so you got pakora.
Wouldn't
curry.
it have made sense if you told me I want chicken curry instead of Indian curry?
I thought you knew me.
I do know you, Bun, but...
Clearly not well enough to know that Indian curry means chicken curry.
You know, maybe if you've spent more time naked around me, I would appreciate you more. I think that's what you owe me. A naked podcast.
I offered you $1, but then I remembered I gave the guy all my dollars at the game.
That was awesome. So tell everyone what happened. What'd you do? What'd you do, Bun?
I've been just off for like a week. Things have not been going well, and mostly my own fault.
I think that's an understatement.
But I went to the game, and we got there, and I ride with Sticky, and I was looking for my gloves, couldn't find them, but his dad gave me gloves. But because I was thinking about those, I forgot to grab my ticket. So I left the ticket in the car. So I had to go to a scalper and ask for a ticket, and I asked for his cheapest ticket, and he said, and he gave it to me, and I said, how much? Like, make me an offer. And so I took my wallet and just took every bill out of my wallet. And started counting the ones.
Wait, before you say how much you paid, he did offer up his own number. He said, I would ask for 100, but I don't think you'd like that.
Well, yeah.
So how many ones did you end up counting, you stripper?
I counted 9, and there was also a 5. So I gave him $14.
The look on his face, he was just like, you got to be kidding me. You're offering me $14.
And I mean, it was just very clear that was all of the money I had.
We did offer him, didn't we offer him a card of some sort? Not a gift card, but like, I don't know, a Sam's Club card or something.
I had a Target card that you mentioned, but I don't know. I wouldn't give that to him.
I think that was my dad. He's like, he has a Target card. You can have that.
No, he couldn't. That wouldn't make any
sense. Save 9% on your product.
But yeah, there weren't many people looking for tickets, so I got lucky, and he accepted all the money I had as an answer to that question.
Very, very true.
I think that I saw somewhere that the ticket was like $80. Which doesn't seem right because ours are 90 and ours are good-ish seats at least. I mean, they're lower level.
You know, we didn't even go and look at where your seat was.
See, I was prepared if you annoyed me too much. I was just going to say...
That doesn't happen.
I was just going to leave.
I don't annoy you. You get annoyed when we're winning, which doesn't happen often, and you're screaming obscenities at players even though we're winning. You're screaming at our players, I should specify. And all I want to do is hug you and rub your back while beautiful women around us just think you're hilarious. You don't see that. All you see is Sticky is touching me. I'm mad about these players doing dumb things.
Yeah, probably.
And threatening to slap Norv Turner in the face.
He deserves it.
Sometimes.
Asiata got, 12 carries? 12 carries. My goodness, that's ridiculous.
After almost every game, I send you at least one link, usually several, stating how Asiata is benefited today's game in some way. He's the best running back we have.
No!
I don't think those are reality. I just like to send them to you because you go crazy. And then you send me messages like, we should make Christian Ponder sign a contract that he can never wear a Vikings jersey ever, even in the privacy of his own home.
Yep.
Where no one can see him.
Yep.
I did not
But
take
I would
that
still prefer him getting double-digit carries than Asiata.
I said from the beginning, put him in at running back. What do you got to lose? What if he gets hurt? Nobody cares. Nobody.
No. So, yeah. I got in for $14.
Yes, you did.
That was nice.
How about you a cheeseburger?
You did buy me a cheeseburger. That was very nice.
Didn't you buy yourself soup?
I did. It was a very good bread bowl with soup in it.
I disagree.
How do you disagree?
Because you can't. You have to put a cream-based soup in a bread bowl. If you put a water-based soup in a bread bowl, it just leaks through the bread. Which they
still tasted really good, and it was hot. And so I enjoyed it. And I will be getting it again.
They were also selling hot chocolate, which is, what, hot water, basically?
And chocolate.
Not that much. In commemorative cups for $9 effing.
Yep.
I don't think I saw the beer guy. I think I only saw the $9 cup of hot chocolate.
Oh, I definitely saw the beer guy.
Are you an alcoholic?
Very much so.
I knew it. You're a closeter, don't you? You have
People
beer in your
don't know
closet.
who I am. I'm the bun. I might be They don't know who I am. I could be an alcoholic.
Do you watch Bob's Burgers?
I do.
If I got you the bun costume, would you wear it since you are the bun?
No.
Come on.
No. But you still owe me a tribute song.
I do.
So, do we want to talk about the game since you're in a hurry this week?
I am, unfortunately. We are strapped for time. I am in my work attire still, and I have to say thank you to Elijah, who may or may not actually listen to this podcast, for yelling at me for leaving work early.
You're causing my screen to bend.
I don't know how to stop it. I started pressing buttons and
just push
there
up.
you go.
Push up.
You want to look outside again?
Sure.
Okay. The game was really exciting for two players.
Yep.
Not exciting for basically anyone else.
I don't know if I agree with that. The two players you're talking about are Mr. Mankato.
I got a Thielen.
I can't believe no one commented on the song. That was a really good song. I enjoyed it.
Well,
have you listened to it yet? I
No.
hate you.
I thought about what it might sound like just now, but I have not listened to it, no.
Okay.
Although we're going to talk about your buddies, Judd and Mackie, in a bit.
Griffin, because of the two big special teams plays. I also felt it was exciting for Xavier. That was a really fun game to watch him perform.
I read a stat. He has allowed 7 receptions in the last 4 games. When is the last time we had a cornerback like that?
It's been a long time. No, I mean, those pass deflections. I'm sure eventually we're going to hit some referee crew that doesn't let you breathe on the wide receiver, and he's just going to have 10 flags that game.
What, you mean like New England when he had 4 pass interference calls?
Yeah, I'm sure we're set up for another one of those games. I don't care. I hope he just keeps playing this way,
Absolutely.
And it is a lot of fun to watch. And if that means 2 or 3 times a year he's just going to have a flag-filled game, I'll take it.
I would agree. I think the best thing that he's got going right now is confidence, and I want him to use that and just bury these people into the ground.
Teddy had a better game, a nice game.
A solid game.
Yeah.
I think we can call it solid, right?
Yeah. I do think, and I'm curious about your thoughts, I think that the special teams plays, because they were so big and so exciting, kind of masked that overall we didn't play that well.
See, I kind of agree, but I think when you go up, I think offensively we didn't really play any better than we have lately, and that's not good. But I think when you go up by so much, so quickly in that type of weather game where nobody wants to play, except probably Everson Griffin because he's ridiculous, I think it changes how you are playing the game, and so it's difficult to really see what you're trying to do. Because offensively, you're not trying to score points, really.
You're trying to get first downs, though, and we weren't doing a good job of that.
Yeah, but we're not really good at getting first downs in general.
That's kind of a bad sign. Would you like to describe...
Would
you like to discuss what you're showing us?
I have Sister Act and Sister Act 2 Back in the Habit on Laserdisc in my hand.
Laserdisc?
Yeah.
I am jealous of you. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah.
Do you know...
Complete series.
Do you know what I have at home?
What?
I have the 3 original Star Wars. What is it? 4, 5, and 6.
On Laserdisc?
No, even better. On actual vinyl record, where they do a read-through of the entire movie with sound effects.
Wow.
I want to listen to that.
That's actually that's pretty cool.
I know!
Do you have a record player?
My parents do. I don't know how I got the records but not the player, but it's not even a joke. I used to listen to it all the time when I was a kid.
I definitely want to listen to that sometime.
Because they have some narrating, but they also have the voice actors playing, and you can hear the bzz when the lightsaber comes out, and the pew, 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 pew when you're shooting.
Oh,
it's amazing.
I bet there is a record player at Goodwill for cheap. I will buy that just to listen to these records.
I have a friend who has a record player. His name's Mike. Huh?
Do you have a Laserdisc player?
No.
How are we going to watch all these movies?
Let's move on from Intern.
Okay.
Well, wait, there's more.
Hook. Yeah. There you are, Peter. None of this makes sense to anyone who's going to listen to this because they don't see anything we see. We have listeners. You want to take this outside?
Okay. I was going to say, on offense, the 2 touchdown drives were very good.
Yes.
One
was 80 yards.
It was helped by a taunting penalty.
It was.
And the other one was a short field. But for all that is as good as our offense has looked as a complete offense this year. Against Atlanta, it was largely just rushing. That was pass and rush. Rush wasn't great, but we're missing a bunch of guys there. It was good enough, and it was a pretty sweet pass to Rudolph.
That was nice, because I thought for sure he was going to go, because he had stacked tight ends. He had one at the beginning at the goal line and one deeper in. I thought for sure he was going to the goal line one, which is Ellison, who was pretty covered.
Which is a safer
Absolutely.
throw,
but he is covered, so you have to put it in a very specific spot to make that. And instead...
That was a very nice throw.
Instead, he surprised us, because I also did not see Cal Rudolph back there, much like the Panthers didn't see him back there.
He also had a really great throw on the throw he normally struggles on, which was a deepish pass to right. It was deep. I mean, it was,
but it hit him stride.
Yeah.
Which we haven't seen in years.
That was really nice to see. But other than that, our offense was not doing good, and that was despite our special teams having a phenomenal day. It wasn't just the returns, but Cheryl's had some pretty nice returns that weren't block punts. Cheryl's
he's nifty
gave
like
us
that.
really good field position, but we scored 3 points in the second half. That was very disappointing. Late in the fourth quarter, there were some times where we had a chance, I thought, to try to end the game. Not that the game was really in question at that point, but get some first downs, just close out the game. We weren't able to do that. We weren't even able to close out the game when we got the ball back with 2 minutes and 18 seconds left.
Yeah, it took a Josh Robinson interception for really to go out. Our offense, we have problems at wide receiver, we have problems at running back, we have problems at offensive line. Our quarterback is erratic because he's a rookie. We have good tight ends.
Oh, boy. Asiata got way too many carries. Again, don't hate Asiata. Just want him to have his role. It sounds like Banyard missed one pass protection play, and that's why they just kind of completely went away from him, which feels like a bit much.
I think it's also because in that temperature sets up really well for Carolina because they have bruising backs. D. Will and what's the other guy's name?
Stewart.
Yes, Mr.
Jonathan Stewart.
They hit you hard. This is why it would have been great to have AP because he'll hit you hard, and you will remember it 3 days from now. I think they did that more with Asiata and Ben Tate because they're.
But that wasn't working.
Yeah,
I would have preferred Banyard getting first downs to hitting.
But you don't want. See, Banyard has more quick strike. I feel stupid saying that because I don't consider Banyard quick strike.
No.
But if you compare him to Asiata, he has way more quick strike ability. What you're trying to do is control clock, take as long as you can, and beat them physically.
But Asiata can't do that. I know that's what they think his role is.
He can, but at no point have you actually been allowed to do it. Because in other games...
If he could, he'd have to at least push the pile. He falls forward. He has gotten very good about falling forward.
Ontario Smith was good at falling forward as well. Okay, so...
And that's not nothing. It's not nothing
correct.
To be able to fall forward.
Absolutely. Michael Bennett could not fall forward at all. In fact, he would fall backwards and drove me insane. Asiata can do these things, but if you look at all our games, we're either behind, so his purpose is now negated because he's going to be now a pass protector or a 2-yard dump off. So his physicalness of inflicting pain is no longer. We can't keep running the ball because he's going to get no yards, and then in the fourth quarter he'll start to get yards when he's worn them out. The Cold game would have been great for that, but when you go up by 14 points with the special teams, you basically wasted the entire first half. You didn't do anything. Would we have 2 drives? That's ridiculous. So then when you're trying to do it in the third and fourth quarter, they don't have first and second quarters to be worn down, so you're not gonna see that happen.
I'm not even convinced Ozzy hits as hard as some people try to tell us that he does.
Well, I don't know for a fact. I've never tried to tackle him. We can get him on this podcast. I'm willing if you want to try and tackle him.
We can't get him on this podcast. He will never come on this podcast.
He will. Remember, we talked about this. He'll just
You talked
swear
about
at us.
how hilarious it would be.
Oh, it would be amazing.
But no. So I felt Banyard should have gotten most of those carries, or at least Tate. Tate at least had a 9-yard carry, which led the team. That was the biggest rush of the day. 9 yards.
And then he looked worthless.
Yeah, he looked pretty worthless after that. That's why I think Banyard.
That is also, he's been here, a week and a half.
Yeah.
You can't really fault him too much.
And 5 carries. Okay, so 4 carries were nothing special. That's not much of a sample size.
Correct.
Defense, it seemed like, especially up the middle, whenever they were running, our line got pushed back. It felt like they always reestablished the line of scrimmage about 2 yards ahead. And that is troubling because that was the same thing that was happening last week against Lacey. It seems like the middle of our defensive line, in fact, I'd say even our defensive line in general, has not been as solid. Late in the game, we got some sacks because they were forced to go away from it. Mm-hmm. But if we didn't have those returns and they were allowed to just continue with the running game, I think that game could have ended very poorly for us.
See, but so Ron Rivera was criticized for kind of some game planning problems, and I think some of it was justified. But I told you they were going to keep running the ball because in the second half it's going to matter.
It mattered in the first half.
It did, but the problem, I agree that our defense didn't look as good as it used to in terms of stopping the run. But you have a couple problems. Sharif Floyd went out in the first quarter. Sharif Floyd is a very good defensive tackle. So now you're on your secondary defensive tackle, who's a 7th-round draft pick, which you basically say is a free agent. He's a penny in the jar. Nobody cares about him.
But I still would have expected Joseph to hold the point of attack, and I wasn't seeing that either.
You can't have him hold everybody. And they are bruising backs. This is the time of possession. I looked. We had it for 5 minutes in the first half. 5. So that also works against you because you're on the field the whole half.
It definitely did.
And it was -7.
But this is the second time in a row where it feels like the other offensive line has been able to impose their will, and that scares me.
You can't compare the two, though. You can't compare Carolina's offensive line when we have a 5-minute possession but we're ahead by 3 scores to Green Bay's offensive line with a much better running back and a quarterback you're actually afraid of.
I don't know if Lacey is better than Jonathan Stewart.
I think so.
I think it's close. Just
by the pure fact that he's got a quarterback who has brains.
Well, I'm not saying the offense isn't better. I'm saying as a back.
Sure, but you will...
But I'm mostly concerned, again, because neither of these offensive lines are supposed to be any good. They have injury issues, and it felt like our defensive line was getting pushed back.
We also... Mike Zimmer also said that at no point did he ever send pressure. That when he blitzed, it was 4. It was 3. It was 4.
But I'm not talking about pressure. Blitzes or even run blitzes. I'm talking about holding the line of scrimmage.
I understand that. But again, you're talking about literally below 0 temperatures.
Well, we're going to have to face those.
And...
I mean, that can't be an excuse for this team.
And you were on the field for 25 minutes of the game. That's a long time.
That's a long time. I'm just saying I'm concerned because it seemed to happen pretty early, pretty regularly, and pretty continuously the last 2 games.
You know what I think you're doing?
What?
Prematurely ejaculating. I think our
intern enjoys that.
Really, really fake liked that.
I'm making homemade bows.
He's making bows. I just think you're jumping the gun too much.
Well, we're going to find out because the Jets don't do many things well.
The Jets don't do anything. Well, I guess they run on the Dolphins.
They run pretty well.
I mean, if your quarterback sucks that much, it's like with Christian Ponder. You're going to run every single play.
And they were successful. And they've been successful running the ball pretty regularly. It's just their quarterback tends to give the ball away. They are going through what we had last year.
I think I read he had 10 passes the whole game, and only Tim Tebow had less in the history of the NFL.
Well, not in the history of the NFL.
I like thinking about that. And you had 250 yards as an offense and still lost the game.
Yeah, they rushed like crazy. I mean, that was a game where they could throw less than 10 passes, and they very easily could have won that.
Yeah. Although, I don't know about the Dolphins' defense, so I don't know. I know nothing of their defense. I'll have to look them up someday because we're playing them in 3 weeks, I believe. I listened to part of the game, and the announcers were like, the Jets are just rolling over them, and it was 10-3. And I was like, really? They're rolling over them, but they are only ahead by their own score. I don't know. Maybe every team, I think you'd agree, has one game where they rise way above their expectations.
Sure, but I think the Jets have actually had some good running games before that week. It was just their quarterback situation crushed them, and not that good of a week. Not 5.5 yards per carry, good. But I think they have actually had a pretty good rushing offense this year.
Chris Ivory, they tried to nickname Beast East, which is just the dumbest. That's my favorite line from Lego
And
Movie.
you know who else they have running the ball?
Chris Johnson.
And
Leon Washington's not there.
he's not always a running back. He's not usually a running back.
Percy Harvin.
He's going to be motivated.
Honestly, if it takes him into this time period to become motivated, just go home. Just go home.
I'm not saying that's a good thing. I mean, clearly that's a problem with Percy Harvin. He clearly has issues.
He has way more than issues. He needs to be committed to an insane asylum where our friend Elijah can visit him every single day and bring him cookies, which he would do. And he'd pet his head, try and kiss him. It'd be really awkward for everyone but Elijah.
But I bet he comes in with a purpose.
I don't think he does. I get that he might be mad at the Vikings, but the Vikings gave him a Super Bowl ring, and he should be way more upset with Seattle about giving him away to a horrendous team.
I'm sure that he has strong feelings about that as well.
I was thinking about it. What, is Christian Ponder basically the only player from that team? The coaching staff's all gone, except for George Stewart. I guess George Stewart maybe he'll say hi.
Prefer. He played special teams.
He did, but nobody cares about special teams except when they score you 2 touchdowns. I don't. There is not enough people, and Rick Spielman's not going to be on the field like shaking hands and kissing babies. So I don't think there's enough people around that he cares anymore. It's not like the coaches who had problems with him are still here. They're not. Most of the players aren't either.
I still think he's going to have a little extra.
Good,
maybe not
go
a
for
ton.
it. So what, 50 yards?
He still has a lot of talent.
He has he has more talent than some teams have. Entire teams. I think incredibly highly of Percy Harvin. If he had any brains at all, he would be at least an above average player. Unfortunately, he cannot get out of his own way.
Well, we're going to face him.
We are. I'm not afraid at all.
I have to say, I kind of penciled this in as a win. I've been kind of worried.
Stop premature ejaculating. Stop being wishy-washy. That's unsightly. We're going to win. I don't think it's going to be easy as, hey, it's the Jets, you can't lose. I think you can lose because you're the Vikings. I think we still win at home after a motivated win.
I'm sticking with the win for now, but I am nervous because we've been having issues stopping the run the last 2 games, and that's what they are good at. They have, I don't know how good their defense is, but with Rex Ryan, their defense is never going to be terrible.
I don't know. Has he checked out? He might have checked out. His post-game press conference, I wanted to cry for him. He was basically like, we tried so hard, guys, and we still lost. He literally almost cried. If he hasn't checked out, he's got to be the most amazing coach in history. Because it is so hard not to check out after that. What does he have? They have 1 win? 2 wins?
They have 2 wins.
Ooh.
I think.
Is there 1 win before Percy and 1 win after? Or has Percy not won as a Jet?
I'm not sure.
That would be hilarious.
So I'm just worried that it's a bad matchup.
I guess we'll find out. We have a young team.
Yep. And I don't know. I think I was noticing was it yesterday that I noticed? I was looking at the worst teams.
You've been waiting so long for it to talk about this.
No, I found it funny because the worst 13 teams in the league. One of them is the Vikings, record-wise.
Sure, makes sense. We are 5-7.
And what did I say? 10 out of once we play
10 out of 11, I think it was.
Once we play the Jets this week, we will have played.
I thought it was by the end of the year we would have played 10 of the 11. Because you also did mention that we also play one of them twice.
That might be. Yeah, 11 of our games will be against the 12 worst teams, including preseason. You have to include preseason.
Okay, I think everyone's pretty much terrible in preseason.
Yeah, but...
Except for the 4-0 Vikings. What?
We have played a pretty weak schedule looking back on it now.
Absolutely.
And we're 5-7.
We are 5-7.
That's a little depressing.
It should not be. And that's what I told you when you sent that to me.
Why shouldn't it be depressing? When you're playing bad teams,
it
makes it look like your record is maybe a little bit more fluff.
Sure, and I can understand where you would be depressed you're not even at 500 playing one of the easiest schedules. But you also have to look at how much has changed since, let's say, the first game. You are missing your starting quarterback,
Teddy
was going to sit the whole damn year.
See, I didn't think that. I thought there was a possibility, but I would have actually expected him to start a couple weeks ago. I said late November.
Do you think that Castle plays about the same as Bridgewater? Mistakes, some positives.
I think he might play a little bit better, but around the same.
Okay, if that's the case, they don't ever bench him.
We'll see. If you're losing these games and you're out of it?
Actually, Zimmer was asked that question, and he said, I don't care about next year. My concern is tomorrow.
Well, see, you believe everything Zimmer says.
He has never led me wrong, Nick.
He says he is
You don't listen to his conferences. Don't pretend like you know.
Patterson's corner.
He is in Patterson's corner.
How do you know?
Told you that, first off. Because he said so. And he had words with Cordero. My favorite is the people behind us at games who don't know how to say his name. Or the one guy who, I can't remember what game it was, showed up and the first thing out of his mouth was, I'm going to go ape shit when Patterson breaks a touchdown. Have you watched any of the games this year? That just ain't happening. And they're not going to throw him the ball for a touchdown. Zimmer doesn't lie. He doesn't have time to lie, okay?
He doesn't have time to lie.
He does not have time because he's going to have to remember the truth and the lie. He doesn't have time. That's why I don't lie. It's too complicated. You have to remember who you told what to, and you basically have to have a spreadsheet. I don't have a personal assistant who can do that. Intern, do you want to be my personal assistant and keep track of all the lies I tell different people? Okay, you're hired. You're missing your starting quarterback. You're missing your all-pro, former MVP, starting running back. Arguably one of the best at his position in history. You're missing your now your right tackle, which was later. I'll give you that. You're missing your right guard. You missed your star tight end, who you just gave a contract extension to. What else did I say? I think that was it. You didn't really have any. You had some injuries on the defensive line, but not enough to say that. You're missing a lot from the offensive side.
You are, but other teams deal with issues too.
Absolutely.
I don't know. It's just, you told me we were facing a murderer's row all the first half of the season. Turns out we were facing Larry Curly and Moe.
What are you talking about? That he wasn't even listening. Don't.
Oh, I was listening. That was clever.
We weren't facing Larry, Curly, and Moe.
We were facing the worst teams in the league.
Really?
Hold on. The Rams, One of the worst teams in the league.
They just beat a team 52-0.
They played the worst team in the league. Atlanta, not a good team. The Saints, not a good team.
I believe that the Saints and the Atlanta are tied for first place in their division.
With a losing record.
Outside of their division.
Chicago, not a good team.
They should be a good team, though. Well, I'm happy they're not. I hate them. Who did we play? We played the AFC
We played
East.
New England, the Patriots, New England, the Lions, and the Packers.
New England, 9-3.
Those are the only good teams we've faced all year.
Atlanta, same record as us. New Orleans, same record as us.
Bad.
It's okay. You're still on track to be a 500 team.
No, you're not.
Yes, you are. Detroit.
500 team would be 6-6.
Detroit, fantastic defense. Green Bay, good defense. Chicago, we'll pretend they don't exist. New Orleans, you played them at home early in the year. That's a problem. Usually when you go to Atlanta or to New Orleans, we beat Atlanta. Where was that? St. Louis, same record as us.
Yeah, bad. Worst 13 teams in the league.
Pretty sweet looking bow, right?
That's a great looking bow.
The intern makes a good bow. If you need a bow, let us know and we will get you in touch with the intern.
But when are you facing these teams? Because that does matter, right? When you win against the Patriots, when you win against New Orleans, when you win against, I'll even throw in Atlanta. Why not? Because you won. You were coming off of not having your starting quarterback, not having your running back, missing your tight end,
quarterback,
missing your right guard. You had your quarterback for a quarter at New Orleans.
It was longer than a quarter, wasn't it? 2.5, something. And we had the Rudolph for part of that game too.
You randomly did not have your starting running back. It wasn't even injury. It was just you're effing suspended forever. Basically what they said. Forever. Trevor. And they were relatively healthy. They were doing a good job of taking care of their injuries.
What were their injuries that led them to fall off a cliff later?
I don't know. I
don't think they had
the
injuries that caused
Is that
them
a present for the bun?
to fall off a cliff.
I hope it's.
I think they
Sister
just
Act.
aren't good teams.
But what I'm saying is, you can't expect them to beat bad teams when you're missing half of your offense. I understand everyone has injuries, but the amount of injuries on the offensive side were so severe, you didn't even put Kyle Rudolph on injured reserve because you needed to save that spot for possibility of someone else. Did you know that? He didn't go on injured reserve?
Yeah, I know that they did that because they didn't need the spot.
He missed half the season.
I thought it was weird that they didn't do it. I think they
Sure.
should have. But if he would have gone on injured reserve, they could have signed another player. They would have had an extra spot to sign someone to help the offense. Granted,
Sure.
there's not going to be anyone worth that much.
Yeah, you're not going to sign anyone that good at this point. At that point either. So you can't you can only expect them to be about as good as the bad teams when you're missing half your offense, which is exactly where they are. Yes, you'd like to see them beat a good team.
Or be better against bad teams.
They're on par with the bad team, missing half their offense and starting. Oh, by the way, your starting running back didn't even play running back last year in college. He was a quarterback. Think about these things.
Okay, so that's great, but he's actually pretty good at running back.
You're right, but he has no experience at actually being a running back.
It doesn't seem like it matters.
Ask Teddy about those sacks. Did it matter when he didn't have pass protection? Did it matter when he didn't know which
How
hole
many
to
sacks
cut up
did you hear McKinnon giving up?
I don't have those numbers in front of me. I'm not going to lie and make up a figure.
See, I didn't hear a lot of that, honestly.
So
I heard Norv wouldn't start him because he was worried about that.
So your running back didn't even play that position last year. Your starting running back, I should say. At one point you put a guy at guard who had never played guard since Pop Warner. That's about as bad as Atlanta having to play a tight end at right tackle in the middle of a game. Excuse me. What else? You had...
I mean, sure, fine.
There's
injuries.
You also signed a tight end off the street and played him the next game.
That happens sometimes.
Who also played quarterback in college.
Well,
That does
that
happen.
happens.
That does happen. But he played when the guy...
I mean, I was about to say, he just signed with the Bills and had a good game with the Bills. Graded.
I think his good game is relative.
Well, yeah.
I think he led the team with 30 yards.
Well, there we go.
That's not a good game. And the only reason that tight end didn't start for you is because the guy you cut and put on the practice squad was your other starting tight end. So it has not been a good year for offense. So there you have it. That's that.
Okay.
I do have a question for you.
Okay.
I thought it was super interesting. Today, my favorite radio station was talking about subjects I had no interest in, so I turned it to your favorite radio station.
You don't know what my favorite radio station is.
Well, I'm just going to guess it starts with a 1
I
and a
don't
5.
actually listen to sports radio that often, and actually I'm usually on K-Fan.
I feel like you're dumb then. No, actually I like you because you follow what I do. I listen to, we'll call him J&P for now.
Okay.
They had a really interesting question I wanted to pose to you.
Okay.
Aaron Rodgers, would you say he's probably the best quarterback in the league right now?
Yeah.
I mean, you can make arguments for like Andrew Luck or Peyton Manning, sometimes Tom Brady, but he did just beat Tom Brady.
No. I'd give it to Rodgers right now.
And he's 31, I believe. He has a birthday today. Happy birthday, Aaron.
I hate you.
But you respect him, right?
Sure.
You would not hate him if he was a Viking quarterback. You'd be super happy instead of passing on him twice in the first round.
Yep.
The only team to do so. They said he probably only has at most 7 years left in the league.
Okay.
He probably can't play till 40 like Brett, but he has changed some things, so he could probably play longer than 36.
Sure.
So let's say Oakland Raiders, who aren't going to win any more games probably, let's say they come up to the Green Bay Packers and they say, listen, we want Aaron. And, of course, Green Bay says, good one. And they say, no, we're serious. Here's what we're going to give you. We'll give you Derek Carr and our first, second, and third round picks.
Oh, God, no.
For the next 10 years.
For the next...
That is exactly the face I had. Because it sounds ridiculous. But that's a lot.
That is a lot.
That would be by far the largest trade in history.
Oh, boy.
A first, second, and third. And you know, even though Aaron Rodgers will rise up talent around him, they're going to be middle of the pack. So they're not going to be Super Bowl contenders. Even though the radio station I was listening to argued they would. I disagree with that. Their stance was Aaron Rodgers gets everyone else to play better, although if you're missing a first, second, and third round pick every single year,
I was about to say that.
You're going to have to be really good at scouting. Would you do it if you're Green Bay?
Oh, boy. I would need some time on that just because it feels like Aaron Rodgers is a possible ticket to the Super Bowl every year.
Absolutely.
And if that's your goal, to hand away your ticket to the Super Bowl any given year.
And a Hall of Famer.
And a Hall of Famer. I don't care about that. Every year they are a potential Super Bowl winner with him as quarterback. To give that away.
But now think about this.
If that's your goal.
Boy. Let's say it happened this year, okay? Let's say that in next year it's Mariota, or in a couple years there's an Andrew Luck type guy. Once in a generation, can't miss quarterback. You could use some of that to trade up and get him, and then you'd be fine again. And you also have a capable guy, because Derek Carr would probably do better with the team that Green Bay currently has than what he would have than he has in Oakland. So it's not like they'd be terrible. It's not like Matt Flynn's coming in.
Boy, I don't know.
I want
I
you to-
suppose I would take it, but boy.
it's hard, though.
Yeah, that's hard.
That's like a 50-50. Do you think they'd have a big owners meeting with all the people who bought owner stock and ask them what they want to do?
No, because those people don't actually own stock.
'Cause
They
those
own a
people are
piece of
dumb.
paper that says that they own stock, but they don't own stock.
True. Okay, I want
And you say they're dumb, but you would do it if the Vikings. You would own
would-
so much fake stock.
I would sell everything I have and buy as much of that stock as I could,
Yes.
and I would be dirt poor. Dirt poor.
You would just line the wall. That would be your paper.
You think I wouldn't?
Well, I believe you would.
I would make suits out of it, and I would just wear it all over. But then I couldn't get wet or dirty or anything.
What do you think?
About the trade?
Yeah.
I do it in a heartbeat.
Okay.
No one player is bigger than the institution. And I know I can use that to do whatever the F I want.
All right. Well, anything else?
Nope, we're going to win on Sunday.
I sure hope so. I'm really worried I'm going to walk away very disgusted and disappointed on Sunday.
I will make sure to take pictures of it all throughout the Sunday at the game.
If we lose that game, I'm going to need my tribute song to feel better.
If we lose that game, I think we'll need IVs to stay alive. I won't be able to eat or sleep. I will just stand outside Winter Park and ask why. And I will go to Zimmer's press conference with a fake media pass, and I will punch him in the face. I will attempt to anyway. They'll probably throw me out and revoke my season tickets. So maybe I won't do that. I'll send someone else to do it for me. Maybe I'll give him a little intern pointed at himself. I'll give him a little mask that looks like me.
Okay.
Think they win?
I think so. Jets are really bad.
Jets are horrible. All right.
All right.
See you next week, kiddos.
Yep.